Works very hard at his comedy. Obviously very talented. Matt Steiner, everybody.
Hey, thanks you guys. So before I start slinging the comedy jokes, I want to start with a public service announcement. Here we go. If you have a car, and in that car you have a sound system that ranges anywhere from functional to ghetto blaster-tastic, you have to go download the song that the Ice Cream Man plays. And anytime you find yourself cruising through a neighborhood where children might be present, you have to blast that shit as loud as you can, because children need to learn disappointment early. That way, when they're 26, they move to Portland, life ain't such a kick in the balls sometimes. Thank you. That's the end of the public service announcement, brought to you by my own personal sense of disappointment. It's great. Life is awesome. I'm disappointed about a lot of things in life. Numero uno is that I'm 28. I've been performing for like 10 years of my life, not just stand-up but other stuff. But I'm not yet famous. And Honey Boo Boo is a thing. What the fuck? Honey Boo Boo, the only English-speaking like show where they still need subtitles. What the fuck's that about? I don't know. But I know I'm not famous because I don't yet have a stalker. I don't. I do, however, have a lady that sends me underwear in the mail. And to her, I would like to say, thanks, Mom. Thanks very much. That underwear was much needed. Yeah. That's not a real thing. If you can't tell by that, I'm a little immature. Go figure. I tell jokes for money. Yeah, I can't be that mature. But I wish I was a little more mature for certain things. Like case in point, a couple weeks ago, my boss was like, "I'm going on maternity leave because I'm gonna have a baby," and I was like, "Oh shit, I'm so sorry." Because in this brain, when I hear pregnancy, I hear STD you can't get rid of without committing murder or emotional abuse. Yeah, that's a thing. And I totally should be cooler with kids. Like my sisters have kids, I live with a couple, they have a kid, and he seems pretty cool. He's like not even 2 yet. He might be a dick because he doesn't speak good English. We'll find out in a couple of years. But here's why I think he's cool, because I could tell him the most like fucked up shit about my day, like I had this, and he just looks up at me and tries to hand me one of his toys, and I think he's trying to tell me everything's gonna be okay, Matt Steiner. But since he doesn't speak English, he might be saying, "I don't care about your problems. I got a choo-choo train." Like, maybe we'll find out in a couple of years. But it's cool, like being around something that doesn't understand English, because then you can also say like just horrible, depraved, crazy shit, which I have to do occasionally. Gotta get the crazy out. Like I can look at the little kid right in the face and be like, "I'm just gonna eat your skull. I'm just gonna do it," because he doesn't understand. Okay, it's fine. You can laugh at it. You have to get the crazy out. Yeah. Let's see. The kid doesn't speak English. Hang on. Forgot where I was going. There's probably no transition for the next thing. Oh, yeah! So, he's like, since he's like 2, he's like learning some words. I sound all proud like a parent. I'm not his parent, doesn't matter. But, like, he's like wandering around the kitchen. I'm in the kitchen making a sandwich, and he starts saying the word cunt. And I was horrified, just as probably most of you were by that, a little child saying cunt, that's terrible. And he said it like 7 times. He's just like, cunt, cunt, cunt. And I'm like, what the fuck? I've got to change the topic. So we're in the kitchen. I pointed a pot on the stove. I'm like, hey buddy, can you say pot? Can you say pot? And he starts saying pot, pot, pot. I'm like, oh, what a relief. But then I thought, oh shit. Now he's saying pot. His parents are kind of hippies. If he learned it from me, I'm screwed. That's terrible. Let's see. Kids saying pot. Boy, oh boy. Sorry. Oh yeah. So aside from telling comedy jokes and living with a small child occasionally, I work customer service, and it's awesome. I get paid like $9.50 an hour, and I have to act like a professional, even though people at McDonald's have a better uniform than me. That's great. I had this one lady I was checking out, and she came up with these 2 coupons, and they explicitly said, you can't use these with each other, basically. And I told her, you can't use them with each other. It says so on the thing. Can't you read? And she's like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So I looked her right in the face, and I was like, oh yeah? I once inflated a sock and sold it to my grandmother. And she looks, what? That's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard. I've just expanded your circles of ridiculousness. Enjoy your new life. Yeah, it's a wonder. A lot of other things happen. I had an interesting first at work. We have a lot of TVs on this big wall, and there's stuff on mute all the time. It's just scrolling over and over again. And there was this beautiful girl on the screen, and she looked like she had something to say. So I walked over and turned one of them up to listen to what this lovely woman had to say. And here's what she had to say. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number. And that was the first time in my life that I thought a woman was only attractive on mute. It's an interesting first. Let's see, what else? I go by Steiner even at work. I introduce myself to people as just Steiner sometimes. And I get some odd reactions to that. Occasionally it's like, okay, is that your real name? Steiner? All right, what are you trying to be, the next Sting? Like, what's the deal with that? But I got the best reaction ever to it one day. I was working, had it on my shirt. This lady was like, Steiner. Yeah, that's a cool name. I'm gonna name my kid that. And that moment, it was like my ego just got a blowjob. It was amazing. Yeah, it was incredible. If you ever have one of those moments, just bathe in it. It's glorious. Last thing, this is just a tip for all the gentlemen in the audience. A piece of advice, if you will, you can write it down. At one point or another in your life, a woman will tell you that size doesn't matter. And that's a lie. Because if you go into an adult store, you won't see a 2-inch dildo. You won't. Because that's called a butt plug, and it's for an entirely different application. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Matt Steiner. A lot of things we learned. A lot of them. Some of them are going to be difficult to forget. Nevertheless, I find it very enjoyable. Every time she does that, I'm like, okay, this is a checklist of